If you hear some air in the background, that's fine. I'm just going on an afternoon walk, so you guys get to y'all get to go with me on my afternoon walk. So I'm your host Brian from Welcome to Across the Culture Wars. Welcome. I'm your host Brian from Across the Culture Wars. And man, we got a lot to discuss. Um I really want to discuss this Druski skit because I think that is really interesting how people are reacting to it. Um on Twitter, a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are saying a lot of different things. A lot of people are taking it um as a skit. You know, we grew up watching sketch comedy, Dave Chappelle, Comedy Central. So the older people that's in their, you know, late 20s, 30s, 40s, we find it humorous. But it's some people that don't find it humorous because they see themselves in the joke, right? Now, Druski, if you don't know, is a comedian, an online comedian, online sensation, and a lot of people are upset about his skit. So we're going to get into his skit, and then I'm going to talk about it. You can hit a like, share, subscribe. It's free, and yeah, we're going to get into this because I want to talk about this because it's always interesting to see who can be made fun of and who cannot be made fun of, right? So without further ado, let's get into the skit.
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
How about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible. Sweet cream foam chai ice matcha. And Bella will have all organic pup cup.
organic.
Yes, everything organic.
Low 4, 3, 7. Oh, are you good? 4, 3, 2. Hold your chest lifted. We're gonna lift.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
Okay, so if you're rocking with me, my name is Brian. Welcome to Across the Culture Wars, and I'm taking a little stroll, but I'm gonna do this live stream because I think that this is important. So a lot of people are mad at Druski, and it's very interesting to see what's going on because it's always interesting to see who can be made fun of and who can't be made fun of. Now, I'm going to play a few more reactions to dig into this point. So stay tuned. Hit a like if you can, subscribe if you can. It really helps the channel. You already know it's free. And here we go.
One of the biggest creators and comedians in the world, Druski, just did a parody of Erica Kirk. Let me tell you why I think it's actually one of the most important pieces of political media this year. Yeah, if you didn't see, Druski put out a new skit. He does these every so often. This one is titled How Conservative Women in America Act. It is a parody of Erica Kirk, but also other people on the right. His sketch, of course, he covers this famous moment where Erica Kirk is coming out to the fireworks, but he also touches on how the right uses religion to justify their abhorrent views. Ultimately, a lack of empathy and understanding in the movement on the right. Yes, to be clear, this is a very funny 2-minute comedy sketch. So why am I saying it's one of the most important pieces of political media this year? Well, back in 2024, when Donald Trump won the election, it was declared that Trump had won the culture, that he had won this country, and that his brand of politics and conservatism were going to take over. Except that is not what we have seen. For the past many months, Donald Trump has become even more unpopular, people rising up against him and his authoritarian regime, specifically as it relates to the Druski video being completely weirded out by Donald Trump's movement and the voices coming out of the right. To put a finer point on it, Druski is not a guy who talks explicitly about politics. He certainly touches on a lot of social issues. One of his most recent videos touched on megachurch pastors. Druski himself has a lot of brand deals and partnerships and with the NFL. He is not someone who goes out of his way to make overt political messages. It goes to show that even someone like Druski, who is mainly apolitical, is freaked out by these weirdos. Yes, this video is important on its own. It will garner hundreds of
After Druski just did another skit in whiteface where he is dressed up as Charlie Kirk, and now somehow people are mad at this. And Druski's response so far is hilarious. So just a few hours ago, Druski just posted this video where he is dressed up as Erica Kirk, where Druski goes full whiteface, is dancing around on stage with sparklers and fireworks. He is out here going to Pilates classes, Starbucks, and even more insaner, he does the signature Erica Kirk face. And honestly, I couldn't even tell that this was Druski for the first time that I watched the video.
Get on your feet, boy!
Hey, if you're in the room, I'm gonna talk about what's going on with this Druski shit. Hit a like.
War is raging
And I see the guy in the comments mad at me because I'm
all
smiling.
the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
How about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible. Sweet cream foam chai ice matcha. And Bella will have all organic pop cup.
organic.
Yes, everything organic.
Four, 3, 7. Oh, are you good? 4, 3, 2. Hold your chest lifted. We're gonna lift.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
I'm sorry, but if you're black, you're not country. I don't care. Like, and I wish I meant that in the nicest way. But, like, babe.
Americans built capitalism in the same way that potatoes built McDonald's. The United States was 90+%, in my opinion, of course, white, almost for the totality of its existence. And you're going to tell me that this tiny group of people are the ones who made it great? Fuck off. It's my blood and sweat of my relatives that made that happen. African American.
Okay, so let's get into this. So, for one, people like the last video I just played, they can say whatever they want. They can say, oh, we built the United States, we are Americans. They speak in their little coded language as if we don't understand what they're saying. I'm talking about people on the left and the right. However, when people like Druski steps in and he makes skits or anyone makes fun of them, it challenges the position of power. So power is usually top down. So when someone is making fun of you, it reverses who's in power. And that's why a lot of people are upset. They're upset at Druski because he flipped the script on them. I'm gonna play the video just now what this last guy said, and this is really the crowd that Druski is making fun of.
Americans built capitalism in the same way that potatoes built McDonald's. The United States was 90+%, in my opinion, of course, white, almost for the totality of its existence. And you're going to tell me that this tiny group of people are the ones who made it great? Fuck off. It's my blood and sweat of my relatives that made that happen. African American relatives that made.
So I apologize for the wind. If you hear any wind in the background, that's okay. Just rock with me. We're gonna thug through it. First of all, white Americans didn't build the United States, and I know that that's a tough pill to swallow, but they really did not build the United States. Historically, black people were forced labor, built the United States, built the railroads, built the industries that capitalized off hundreds of years of free labor. So a lot of people are upset about that. And we're at a time now where power is being challenged. Why and how? Well, why it's being challenged is because it's not natural to have a system where one group is placed above another group. That's really just not natural. You have to, in order to do that, you have to change nature. You have to enforce nurture and police it. And how do they do this? By restricting economics, by creating ghettos, by limiting education, limiting job opportunities. And this is how power is consolidated. But when you have groups like what Druski is doing, where he's making fun of people in the dominant society, it really angers them because it shows the flaws in their logic. Here's the thing with conservative women, conservative men. They don't really want to live in a place where everyone looks like them as much as they say that they do. Because if you wanted to, you could move to Idaho, you can move to Iowa. I mean, there's so many states in the United States. If you wanted to live in, you could live in where you would never see a person of color. The reason that they need us here, and I'm gonna get on the Druski skit in a minute, is because we are the buffer class that they use. Like the left and the right both hate each other, but they hate us more. So in order to stop them from fighting one another and having a civil war, which they had already, they can point to us and say, well, hey, look at those Negroes. Let's get on those Negroes. We don't like those Negroes. We don't like those Hispanics. We don't like anyone that's non-white. Additionally, what's in the background of these conversations is that the birth rate is dropping down across the board, but especially for white Americans and white people globally. Now, why would I say this? Well, globally, white people are in a pickle. Now, how are they in a pickle? Well, if you segregate yourself, which is what they learn to do, you're going to run into some problems. What problems are you going to run into, Mr. Brian? Well, one problem you're going to run into is eventually, if you segregate yourself, you're going to lead to inbreeding. Segregation leads to inbreeding. Okay, so you have these white enclaves across the United States and Europe where they are basically having hundreds of years of just inbreeding. And so what ends up happening is eventually you don't bring in any new blood, your culture suffers, your people suffer because there's no new blood. On top of that, we're in a situation where the average age for a white American is 43 years old. The average age for a black American is 30 years old. I'm not sure about the Hispanics or the other groups, but I know in those two demographics, the average age for a white American is 43. The average age for a black American is 30. So from the white standpoint, they're in a pickle because their birth rates are dropping. And all of the older white people have consolidated all of the wealth, and they can't really depend on racism to save them. It's not working for them. And this is what Druski is making fun of, right? Ironically, here's the thing. Druski posted a picture of one of his grandfathers, and one of his grandfathers is a white male. So this goes to show that um in the society of white supremacy, anybody that's not 100% white on both sides, they can't really claim to be biracial. You can claim it, but they don't claim you, right? Because when they look at you, they don't know that. They won't necessarily know that you are mixed or other. They just know that you're not us, right? And so they created a culture in the United States where you get resources based on the color of your skin. And as a result, this is not helping them. Why? Because all of these other groups have been going to college. All of these other groups have been fighting to get resources. And now you're in a situation where you no longer can get subsidized for the color of your skin. And this is why a lot of people are mad at Druski. Another reason why people are mad at Druski is that he's making fun of people in the dominant society. That's really the long and short of it. He's making fun of people in the dominant society, and they live in this bubble. And what the job of a political commentary comedian is to be like a court gesture, to say like, hey, okay, you guys have bombs, you got nuclear weapons, you have all of the power, but look how sensitive you are. Soon as someone makes a joke about you, you are so sensitive that you're ready to call it quits. So I'm gonna play the skit one more time just to poke fun at that, because they got people that's really upset about this. And I'm gonna play this video up top of how these people are able to say whatever they want to say about us, but as soon as we make a skit about them, they are in the uproar. This is my point.
Happen. African American. It's Americans built capitalism in the same way that potatoes built McDonald's. The United States was 90+%, in my opinion, of course, white, almost for the totality of its existence. And you're going to tell me that this tiny group of people are the ones who made it great? Look off. It's my blood and sweat of my relatives that made that happen. African American.
Okay, here's the problem with his point. The problem with his point, the logic, that's missing his point is why was Europe not advanced, right? If they did all of that, why didn't Europe get popping until after Columbus? Why did Europe experience a dark age? Why is Eastern Europe poorer than Western Europe? Think about these things. They like to paint a picture like, oh, European this, European that. But if you actually travel and you're off the porch like I am, if you actually outside like I am, you actually travel the world like I am, you would know that a lot of the stuff that they say is just to boost their egos, which is why they're so sensitive. They're so sensitive because they know that it's a lie. They're so sensitive because they know that it's not true, but they want you to believe it, right? Now they do have the power of the military, of all of our tax dollars. They do have the power to use chemical warfare, germ warfare, and brute force. They do have that power. So I'm not going to be naive and say that they don't have any power at all. They do have that power. But here's the problem. They're in charge. They're in charge, and yet the world is in chaos. They're in charge, but yet the oceans is ruined. They're in charge, but the world is in chaos. So if in order for you to rule, the world has to be in chaos. What does that say about you ruling? You know what I'm saying? Like, would you want to be married to a person who on the outside, the house is beautiful? And I'm making an analogy to white America and the white power structure. The house is beautiful. The land is beautiful. However, on the inside, you're getting beat up every day. You're being mistreated. And this is the relationship that we have with white America. They want us to be their footstool. And it angers them out of everyone that Black Americans refuse to be their footstool. We're just not going for it. And we have heroes and they do not. Who are they? Who are their heroes? Think about this. We have like a lot of different heroes. Who are their heroes? We have Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman. We have sports heroes, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. We have science heroes, Ben Carson. We have heroes like Carter G. Woodson. We have so many heroes in every field, and that's against the system trying to oppress us.
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
How about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. We are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible. Sweet cream foam chai ice matcha. And Bella will have all organic pop cup.
organic?
Yes, everything organic.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free?
4, 3, 7. Oh, Hannah, you good? 4, 3, 2.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
Yeah, so that's really the end of it. Like he talks about he pokes fun at economics, education, relationships, their little weird culture that they have, as well as, and it's only weird because it's built upon oppressing others. It's nothing wrong with, you know, just existing. But once you start, your whole culture is built upon oppressing other people and then pretending that you are the saint. Yeah, people could see through that, People could see through that. Even the people we're all reacting to these people because they have the power, unfortunately. As a result of all of us reacting to them with the Druski skit, we all react in two ways. You're either going to be proactive and try to fight against it, or you're going to be reactive and go along with what they do. And this is the problem that all of us are in. So another thing, he poked fun at Christianity and basically saying like, hey, these people claim to practice Christianity and we're all God's children, but then you're over in the Middle East and you're in America and you're in Africa and you're in Asia and you're, bombing people, unaliving people. And then you get up and you go to church on Sunday or you have your little Bible. And people can see through that. We can see that it's disingenuous. Now, the question I have on the screen is, did he go too far? Did Druski go too far in his skit? No. My answer is no. He did not go too far. And the reason that he did not go too far is because you need people who poke fun at the people at the top, right? And we can also see that he never said Erica Kirk's name, but everyone in the room knew who he was talking about. That's a master class. He put on a master class in sketch comedy. Never once said her name. Everyone knows who he was talking about.
Get on your feet, boy!
War is raging in Iran.
We're praying for all the soldiers and troops.
That's great that you're praying, but
How about all the kids that died when the USA hit the towers?
It broke my heart. That is the
In what ways have you grown closer to Jesus?
I serve a righteous God. And that is why we say our prayers. And we are all his children. But when I say children, I mean like the holy, blessed Trinity, which is why I hold the Bible. Sweet cream foam chai ice matcha. And Bella will have all organic pup cup.
organic?
Yes, everything organic.
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free?
4, 3, 7. Oh, Hannah, you good? 4, 3, 2. Hold your chest lifted. We're gonna lift.
We have to protect all men in America, especially all white men in America. Those are the boys that we care about in this country. America is built on their backs. Yes, because they are the ones who mattered most.
Um, that was a masterclass, guys. So thank you for supporting the stream. I'm gonna leave now. I just wanted to touch on this a little bit. Thank you all for rocking with me. Hit a like if you can. I appreciate it.